The Marvel Universe is defined by a massive disparity of scale. It is a landscape dominated by literal gods, super soldiers, and billionaires operating inside sentient suits of armor. Wilson Fisk entered this world with empty hands. He was a poor, bully child growing up in the shadows of Hell's Kitchen, living in a city that usually grinds people like him into the pavement. He possessed no magic and no cosmic accidents. Yet, in a city of monsters, he became the man who dictated the terms of the city's survival. Fisk's rise suggests that raw power is less effective than a precise, strategic design. He built his authority from the ground up, using nothing but his own will. When you strip away the criminal history, you find a framework for leadership operating on a different logic than almost any other figure in New York. We can reverse engineer how he did it. Everything began with a total conquest of the self. Fisk understood that before directing a city, he had to master his own environment. He spent years hardening his body into a weapon. This physical discipline provided a psychological advantage, making him impossible to read or intimidate. Once he mastered himself, he applied a concept called time horizon optimization. Competitors measure success in months. Fisk operates in decades. On this graph, while others chase short-term peaks, Fisk follows a steady upward curve. He views arrests or exiles as strategic retreats, taking a loss today to win a larger game 5 years later. In any high-stakes environment, the person with the longest view of the board will eventually overwhelm those playing for the immediate future. Fisk's third strategy involved moving beyond the limits of raw capability. He focused on converting his influence into institutional legitimacy. Purely criminal power is vulnerable and must be defended, but legitimate power is protected by the system itself. Operating as a businessman, philanthropist, and mayor created social capital that shielded his core interests. Attacking him meant attacking the institutions. Finally, we have to look at his emotional core, specifically his relationship with Vanessa. There is an assumption that a leader must be entirely detached or robotic to remain effective. Fisk practices emotional integration. He acknowledges his love for Vanessa and builds specific defenses around it. He knows exactly where his vulnerability lies, which allows him to manage it as a known variable rather than a hidden trigger. This total self-awareness prevents any enemy from using his heart as a lever against him, keeping his empire secure from emotional manipulation. By owning his emotions instead of suppressing them, he eliminates the blind spots that usually lead to a leader's downfall. We should be clear, Wilson Fisk is a villain. He has committed terrible acts to achieve his goals. But if we look past those crimes, we find a sophisticated study and strategic thinking. He focused on internal discipline, maintained a generational time horizon, and laundered raw power into lasting institutional authority. The most effective person in any room is the one who has mastered their own mind and stays 5 steps ahead of everyone else's timeline. Next time, we look at a hero who follows the opposite path, a man who keeps showing up even after losing his job, his name, and the people he cares about. We have to ask, what does it actually cost to live by a motto like "with great power"? Is Peter Parker the strongest person in this universe, or the one who has been broken the most? Subscribe.
Because that conversation, that's next week.